Good afternoon, Crystal and John. I'm so glad that you could join us today to discuss Chris's IEP. Welcome. I would like to take just a minute to introduce our team members here. Some of them you know, as this is our annual review. We have met together a couple of times, but I would like to review the team members that you know and introduce some new faces. So first is our principal, Ms. Huston. She will be representing the administration today. Your general education teacher, Ms. Van Soon, which you know, the school psychologist, Ms. Huston, our speech pathologist, Ms. Norson, and I'm Mrs. Alvarez. So thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. So this is our annual renewal of the IEP, and prior to this meeting, the MDT team got together and discussed some further concerns that we had and discussed those with you and sent home some paperwork regarding testing and just some paperwork for the medical side. And thank you so much for filling out all those questions and just helping us with getting a full picture of Chris. So before we get started with all of those results, are there any, I would just like you to take a minute to share with us some real strengths that you see in Chris. Thank you. And what are some concerns or some needs that you see? We see some of those too. Yes. So again, thank you for filling out those permissions for us to be able to do this. So I, at this time, would like Mrs. Huston to share the results from those tests and how those are impacting the IEP and the choices and the way that we're moving forward. Ms. Huston? Thank you. So at this time, Ms. Huston will be leaving. Thank you for your time and for sharing those results and how they impacted our IEP. We will get into the IEP, the core of why we are all here, and how we are going to build some strategies to help Chris moving forward with his academics. So I was the one who conducted the academic testing for the review and when we were looking at his eligibility. So we are changing his eligibility category like Ms. Huston shared. Through the test results, the information that you shared through Basque and the general ed teacher and myself, and through the Woodcock and through the district monthly testing that we do through iReady, through iStation, and also in the data assessment in our class, Chris has qualified under the school category of ADHD, other health impairment. So that broadens the scope of what we can offer him, moving him from the language impairment category to the other health impairment category, creates a new way for us, has created this opportunity for us to help and support him in new ways. So we're going to go through what that looks like, and I will share with you his baselines and in the different academic areas, what our goals are moving forward in those areas, and how we can support him. If at any time you have a concern or you would like to share something, or it doesn't, hey, maybe that doesn't sound exactly like Chris, please feel free. I will stop and we will have those opportunities to have conversations. Thank you again for all your support and how you and all the information you provided to help inform those goals. Okay, so we're going to start with reading. So reading fluency, we'll start with fluency and then move to comprehension. So in his reading fluency, he really has a strength in his ability to decode words. So he's becoming more confident in that area. He wants to read aloud and becoming a little more confident in his ability at his ability level to read out loud. So that in his reading fluency and comprehension, that's where we're seeing that inattentiveness affecting those academic areas, as you will see when we look at his baselines that informed his goal. So in his baseline, it was given a first grade reading fluency passage with 1 minute to read. He was reading about 19 correct words per minute. So for his goal to increase that, given a first grade reading fluency passage with 1 minute to read, Chris will increase his reading fluency by going from 19 correct words per minute to 35 in 3 out of 4 trials by this time next year. So we're looking at doubling his correct words per minute through building those strategies, through having opportunities to practice fluency in a small group setting that will help the adult keep him on task and work with him in the areas that they observe. For reading comprehension, we use Maze, which takes the reading fluency passage that they have just read and puts it into a paragraph form with options for correct sentence structure. So, for example, if he was reading and it said, Millie went to the lake to go ice skating, and that was in his reading fluency, the Maze would say reading Millie went to, and in the parentheses would be lake, circus, gym to go ice skating. And he would have to choose which one was the correct word. And it goes on. And some of those would be in parentheses is the, it. And he would have to choose which was the correct word to finish the sentence. So given a paragraph to read, this is our annual goal for next year. At this point, he is at 0% accuracy for choosing the correct word to complete that. This is a new goal. So this was part of his new eligibility, part of his new eligibility gave him this opportunity to also get reading comprehension. So this is a new goal for him. Given a paragraph to read at the first grade level, Chris will increase his reading comprehension by recalling important information from the paragraph with 70% accuracy on 4 out of 5 trials by this time next year. Do you have any questions about the reading goals? Great. Yes, this went along with what you shared with us in the assessments and the paperwork that we sent home. Yes, and those are the strategies we will be building in to help him accomplish those goals. Okay, we'll move to written expression language. So he loves to develop stories. He loves to tell stories. He likes to give ideas for stories, not always on task and not always structured in the way that the large group or small group has asked him to work. So right now, we are also working on spelling. So part of that written expression is spelling. So right now, when he is given a list of 10 randoms of those sight words, those 100 first fry words, he is spelling with 10% accuracy. So we want to work on a new goal, which says, given a spelling list of 10 random sight words, those first 100 fry words, Chris will increase his writing skills by going from 10% accuracy to 80% accuracy by this time next year. So he'll be getting that practice of those sight words during reading, and he will be building those skills, and then he will practice writing and spelling throughout the year to build that skill. Okay, next we're going to move into math. So as you indicated in your assessments, and as we see and the general ed teacher has also seen, is math is one of his strong skills. He enjoys math. He feels confident in math. So currently he is able to add double-digit addition problems without and with regrouping. He is able to do both. With subtraction, he is able to subtract 2-digit numbers without regrouping. So we want to build that regrouping strategy for him with subtraction. So currently he is with 0% accuracy with regrouping. So our goal for next year is given 20 double-digit subtraction problems with regrouping. Chris will increase his math calculation skills by going from a score of 0% to 80% in 4 out of 5 trials. So we are going to work on building those strategies that he can use for subtraction regrouping. His next math goal is affected by his reading fluency, and that comprehension is also affecting him in this area of math. So when you talk about problem solving skills, those are a lot of word problems, math problems with reading, all of those pieces that are affected together. So given a second grade math concept and application probe with 8 minutes, those are those MComps we do in the district. With 8 minutes to complete, he currently uses math problem solving skills, and he scores about a 4. So what we want to do is build up those reading skills, build up those comprehension skills, and build up his math comprehension skills and we used all those strategies and created a goal for next year that says, given a second grade math concept and application probe with 8 minutes to complete, Chris will increase his math problem solving skills by going from a score of 4 to a score of 8. Do you have any further questions regarding his reading, writing, or math goals? Yes. Thank you. Okay, now I would like to have Ms. Norson speak about his communication and language goals. Thank you, Ms. Norson. Okay. The final goals that he will have for me are in behavioral and social emotional. So again, this is that new category that he qualifies for through his other health impairment eligibility. So we are going to work on one of the things that you shared and the general ed teacher and I all agreed on is that inattentiveness, that to stay on task. So right now, he can stay on task for 10 minutes in about 20% of opportunities. Anything new is introduced, anything different, or he thinks about something and he is off task. So what we want to do is our goal is given a task like a worksheet, a reading book, something, that he will increase his on-task behavior by beginning the task within 2 minutes and remaining on task for 10 minutes with no more than 2 adult reminders for 80% of opportunities for 4 consecutive weeks. It's a big goal. So in his behavior group, he will practice being on task, responding to the information, and then he will be given opportunities to get on whatever the assignment, whatever is given to him, that he will engage with that in 2 minutes and stay engaged for those 10 minutes. And we want to see that for 4 weeks. That's our goal by this time next year. So, any questions? Okay, to meet all these goals, we are going to go through what his minutes will look like. He is in his general education classroom at least 40% of the 6-hour day. He will receive services through the resource room in reading for 150 minutes a week. Math is 150 minutes a week. His speech and language is still going to stay at that 120 minutes a week. Written expression is 120 minutes a week, and behavior skill building is 50 minutes a week. At this point, we do not see any data that supports that he needs an extended school year service. So if the data indicates that, next year we will relook at that and examine those ideas for next year. If you would like, I have a couple of things that we're going to sign. The procedural safeguards manual, if you would like another one, you can take it. If you would like to take it, just click check yes and sign, or you can decline and also sign. That'd be appreciated. Here is our signature page stating that everyone's here, that we are in agreement on this IEP moving forward. And I just want to thank you so much for coming, for your time, and for all that you do to help support us in reaching these goals. It is appreciated. Is it okay that once the IEP is finalized that it goes home in the backpack? Is it okay for all of his progress reports to go home in the backpack as well? Any written communication? Thank you. If you get this home and you're just unsure as to anything that is in here, please feel free to email or call me. I will be happy to discuss those things with you. I again appreciate your time. Thank you for coming. Okay. So, actively listening. One of the things that I have seen and observed in the meetings that I think means a lot to parents is that my mentor teacher and the school psychologist are very great at repeating a piece of what the parent says and then adding to it, reflecting when they say something like, "Oh, that's so great. We're going to cover this. Yes, we see that too." Those kinds of things that they actively listen, or the same goes for stakeholders. When they share something, they respond in the same way. They write notes that shows the parents that they are actively listening to them. And they always start the meeting with the parents. So they always say, what are your areas of strength for your child that you see? What are areas of concern? And then they always thank them for any paperwork that they have filled out. It just creates this real positive beginning to the meeting, and helps everyone, I think, have buy-in to what they're doing. Thank you. This is Christy Alvarez, and this was my presentation for an IEP meeting.